Welcome everybody. Today is Thursday, October 9th, 2025. And today we're going to be going over the usual, starting from the indices. I just want to point out right away, we do have slight decrease so far this week in the weekly BX. So, of course, we still have tomorrow. Tomorrow. So we'll see how we close the week. Right now, the daily is kind of looking like a little back and forth. This past week or so has been pretty steady grind since the lows at 655. So it's been a nice bounce since the beginning of October. It's definitely been October so far, if you ask me. But just got to keep in mind with the S&P 500, just keep watching because the daily RSI is coming down a bit, as you guys can see here. So while price still rises, there's a bit of a divergence in the RSI, which is pretty interesting actually. So same thing with the Qs, I'm sure. Well, actually, no, the Qs look a bit stronger than the S&P 500 right now. So that's pretty interesting, actually. The weekly BX looks much better on the Qs. Wow, just crazy, guys. It's really been a crazy ride so far since the April lows from the tariffs. All right, so for the Qs, I would say right now they definitely look a lot stronger, like I just mentioned. And again, as long as we're defending 590. I remain bullish. I'm sure we'll come down and test it at one point. We have a lot of open gaps. So, I don't think I've seen this many in a long time. Like, we don't have to come all the way down here. Like, I'm sure we won't. But I think definitely 580 is a target to jot down in the long term over the coming months if we do come back down and test this area. And the first indication, of course, will be the weekly BX trender down here. So we'll be watching that. So far, it's good. It's fine. Continuously pushing higher at the moment. So Qs, S&P look fine. Let's take a look at Berkshire. As you guys know, since the BX was flipping over here in July, August, I've been calling out Berkshire here. So it actually took out the April low. And then so far, it's just been bouncing like crazy. The monthly is still red, so we got to watch. But, it's Berkshire. I think they're fine. I think it's a great company. It was a great rotation target at the end of the summer, and I'm glad I pointed it out to a lot of you. So, yeah, that's definitely... I'm glad I pointed that out when I did, because this was a great rotation target. It literally took out these lows perfectly, and it's looking good. So Berkshire, looking pretty good. Like I just mentioned, the S&P is okay. The Qs, the Nasdaq definitely looks better, but we're gonna wait and see. Let's take a look at the IWM. I think this is so bullish. The IWM. This is the Russell 2000. So the small caps, of course, the interest rate cuts are gonna help. I think this looks really good. This could be another rotation target in the coming, I would say 12 to 18 months, coming up as we enter 2026 and then swing into 2027. I think this could rip, like really rip. So we'll be watching the IWM. It looks really good. Let's look at the Dow. So the Dow is also... it's starting to pull back towards the 50. We could see it. I'm sure it's possible. We've been respecting the 50 since we crossed it in May. So I'm not really concerned about the industrial right now. So I'm just really focusing on that. But we do have a lower high on the BX, so we do want to keep that in mind. If the Dow Jones starts to come back down, we definitely want to be prepared, and this is a first sign here. So nothing's confirmed yet, but, we're starting to see some sellers, but it's still an uptrend. As long as we hold this 50-day moving average on the daily, I'm not really concerned. So it's healthy at the end of the day. But if you go back in time, you know, there's always a pullback. So we want to watch. So Dow Jones looking pretty solid if you ask me. I just want to make sure you guys can see my screen, right? I want to make sure. All right, cool. All right, so basically you get the gist. Overall market indices look good, and like I said, the Dow Jones is probably a leading indicator of the entire market. So, you know, if it does come back and test the 50, it's normal, but we'll see. Time will tell until late October and November. The Vanguard total actually looks really good. I usually don't cover this ETF, but it looks really damn good. Vanguard total stock market ETF. So let's keep an eye on that. The VIX. So let's look at the VIX real quick because it's starting to get a little interesting. We're starting to build a base, right, on top of the 50. So historically, it's, you know, kind of a median area, I would say, but, you know, we're starting to see the VIX rise a little bit. I mean, it was low at the end of August. It was 15 VIX. I mean, we haven't seen that in over a year. So, you know, and obviously when the VIX was 60, that was a generational opportunity over here in April. I mean, seriously. Just generational. I mean, just crazy. But yeah. All right, let's continue with the S&P. The Magnificent Seven. So Apple, as you guys know, most of you know, I've been screaming to buy Apple all here in July as the BX trender started to flip. Even in June, I was buying here 195, 202, you know, and then they faked everybody out after the earnings, and then it continued to rip. So Apple could take a little breather, but I think, what did it tap all-time highs? It basically tapped all-time highs. Didn't necessarily break through. It's kind of just sitting. All right. So we want to keep an eye on Apple. I did have this arrow drawn since June, and it's going perfectly. So Apple looks beautiful, and I'm very happy that, you know, I was able to help a lot of people make money on this stock, but it's definitely going a lot higher long term. They're printing $100 billion a year. So we're looking from a long-term perspective, of course, but at the end of the day, Apple can pull back. We do have open gaps. You know, it could, I don't know if it's going back to 215. I mean, that would take a nice market pullback, but we'll see. We'll see. It's definitely possible. You know, they could come down and fill this gap at 246 here. I don't even have it drawn, actually, which I should. I'm slacking. So this gap right here could be an area of interest for Apple if you're keeping an eye on it. But again, great long-term company. Just give me one sec. All right. So yeah, Apple looks pretty good, and I think it's going to continue to rip. Here's one that I think needs a breather, and it's about to maybe start coming down a little bit. You have calls in Apple right now. Awesome. I hope they're not expiring next week. But as long as you got time, you're good. All right, so 11/21. All right. It's about 45 days. All right, so Google, as you guys can see, the weekly BX trender is starting to signal some decrease in buying pressure. You know, it's not the end of the world, but we want to keep that in mind. And we have a big open gap, which I think is a very, very good target or area of interest. So I don't know if you want to draw this yourself or do your own, do your own research and check the charts yourself, but I would definitely watch this area 219, 215, around that doesn't have to fill the whole gap, but Google ripped since the beginning of the year, since the April lows. It's just been a ripper. So, yeah, I mean, Google's just insane. I would definitely scoop more shares of this company if you can around these areas, and we'll see what happens. So Google looking pretty good. Let's take a look at the one and only Tesla, which we have been screaming as a buy since March and April down here. And yeah, we sold some here, added some back, and now we are riding. The only thing I wish I did was buy some leaps, but next dip, I do think it's going to pull back maybe a little bit. Maybe not 370. Hold on 1 second. Mom, I asked you 3 times. All right, so Tesla, I don't think it's going to, if it does break 400, I think it's going to be quick. I think it's going to be one of those kind of like flush outs, take your stop loss and then run, because this stock has been chopping for 5 years. And when I say 5 years, I mean 5 years. Like, you look right here from February 2021, almost 5 years now. Just now it's finally starting to build some traction. And like I said, if it does come back and break 400, I think it'll be quick. I don't care if it's 390, 380, whatever they bring it down to. If it happens, it's a buyable dip for sure, guys. Just, like I've been screaming for the last 6 months to even, years before I joined this Discord. I've been covering Tesla for a long time. So I do think 1,000 is very, very likely. Maybe not in the next year. I wouldn't be surprised if it happened in the next year, but I'm prepared for it either way. When it does, break this new territory, 500, 550 plus, it's not going to look back. I think that's it. So we will see. We will see what happens. Right now with the daily, it's kind of looking weak. So again, daily RSI was scratching 76. We don't want to chase the stock. You'll get absolutely killed. If it's going to continue higher, then it will tell us. But, we had this consolidation period and then the breakout. Now we're trying to hold this range. If we don't hold it, I think it's going to be quick, like I said, and then continue higher into the 5, 6, 700s into 2027. So here's Microsoft. So we still have this gap open with Microsoft, which is pretty crazy to me. I mean, this thing has been absolutely ripping. Like, it's insane, dude. And, it pulled back. It made all-time high, pulled back for, a couple months, held 500, 490, and now we're starting to base again. I mean, what a beast, Microsoft. You can't make this up, guys. You really can't. So, Microsoft's starting to base out a little bit. It's kind of 50-50. I would kind of wait and see what happens. But, yeah, just a beast run that this stock has had. Amazon, I think, probably the best buy in the Mag 7 right now. And if we're looking at the daily, it's starting to curl. It's starting to look pretty damn good. Starting to look pretty good. The weekly is fixing itself here. And, I think we're eventually going to take out these highs at 240, whatever it is. We're going to do it. Amazon's a great buy, as you guys can see. Yeah, it's been, trying to hold all week. And now it's moving up. So, looks pretty good. We'll be watching the weekly. I think the monthly is still red. Yeah, the monthly is still red, so we want to watch that as well. But right now, Amazon, also similar to Tesla, has been chopping for years, almost 5 years, in this range. So I expect Amazon to eventually break it. You know, I'm sure it's going to happen eventually, and we'll head towards 300, 400, and whatever in the future. You know, so Amazon, great buy right now. Probably the best in the Mag 7 risk reward wise. And look at this, NVIDIA. The BX trender is flipping again. The dip was heavily bought in the 160s. And this thing just keeps ripping. I mean, unbelievable. Unbelievable. This stock. This NVIDIA, man. Unbelievable. It's just unbelievable, man. So yeah, NVIDIA looks spectacular. It made new all-time highs today. The weekly is about to close green tomorrow, which would signal a lot higher, boys. So NVIDIA is looking good. Meta still, I think, is going to come down a little bit. It's starting to. It might come up and test the 50 and then come back down again. And maybe fill this gap eventually next year. I think that's my hot take for Meta. But if it does, I'm a bidder. 600, 660, this whole area, I'm a bidder in Meta. So we'll wait and see. Right now the weekly is red, lower lows on the BX trender. So we'll keep that in mind and we'll watch it. But we definitely want to watch Meta. So if you guys have anything specific you want me to check out, I just did the Mag 7. MSTR and Bitcoin, of course. So MSTR, we're watching very, very closely. I do wish I sold some of it last week. Really regretting it right now. But that's part of the game. Right now, it's looking pretty shitty, but I think it's going to bounce tomorrow. And if it doesn't, then we have to respect these levels. It's that simple. But overall, I think it's going to bounce. Like, I'm starting to see, you're starting to see the signs here. Could be another fake and go lower, but I think we're going to bounce to maybe like 330, 335 tomorrow. But I hope I'm not wrong. We'll see. Right now, it's in buy the dip territory. It's got to bounce, so it's in critical territory. But what makes me confident right now is Bitcoin, the weekly BX trender, as you guys can see. So the weekly is green, and we'll see. I think it's Sunday starts the new week for crypto, but we're going to be watching this on Bitcoin because this is really where it gets important. So right now it's fine. It's starting to correct itself a little bit, calm down, testing 120, and we'll see what happens. So I'm still bullish on Bitcoin, like extremely. Right now the weekly is fine, so we're gonna hold and we're gonna watch. So Bitcoin, MicroStrategy, Clean Spark, here's another one. It's just absolutely ripping. I mean, this thing came down today to 1930. Now it's back up. Just insane, guys. Insane run for Clean Spark. So the divergence, like MSTR is like weak compared to them. So we want to see, we want to see strategy bounce. It's got to bounce here. But again, the 1 hour starting to tell us this could bounce, so we'll keep a close eye. We had the breakout and retest before, so we'll see. But yeah, it's getting interesting. We just gotta really wait and see. At the end of the day, silver is just crazy. Look at silver, guys. I mean, this is just absolutely nuts. Silver is at an all-time high. I mean, what? This is crazy, guys. So, just something I wanted to point out. Gold, silver, crazy. And of course, next month, China, U.S. tariff deal. Hopefully we get this done. We get this settled. But I don't know. I think it's going to spook the markets a little bit. Is it Amen or Aman? I apologize if I pronounced it wrong. If you have anything else you want me to take a look at, feel free. Let me know. Pretty much covered everything. Covered all the indices. They look okay. Mag 7 wise, Amazon I definitely think is the best buy right now. So just keep an eye on Amazon. Of course, dude. I appreciate you taking the time to, come to my stream. This is why I'm here, to hopefully help you guys learn some patience. Just look at things from a bigger, a zoomed out perspective, as we always do. So I appreciate it. I'll catch you guys. Yeah, I've always traded shares ever since I was 20 years old, basically. And yeah, it's been a long journey, definitely. But it's just easier to manage risk, but you need more money. You need more money. So we'll see what happens. But I appreciate everybody stopping by. If you're watching this after the fact, I appreciate you watching the video. And yeah, I'll catch you on the next one. See you guys.